Podcast with Brad, Jim, and Will. What have they been watching lately? They're husky, hairy, huggable homos. Movie Bears Podcast.
Hello all and welcome to the Movie Bears Podcast. I'm Bradley Harris, and along with my husky, hairy, huggable homos and friends, we love to review movies, either current or classic, on this show. But this week's a special one. We're not reviewing one movie. We're not reviewing 2, 3, 4. We are actually counting down our top 10 films of 2025. We're just going to put this out there. We know a lot of people did this at the very end of 2025. We're most of the way through January of 2026. But the way movie releases go, sometimes you can't always see everything by the end of 2025 with the holidays and moving and all the other things that are happening. So we gave ourselves a little grace. We gave ourselves a little room to see everything we could see, but we had to drop a cutoff. And it has been made. Our lists are done. They are ready. We are so excited to share them with you. And we can't wait to hear your lists too. We've already got a bunch of people hanging out with us online. Hello, welcome. Glad to see you here. Let me introduce you to my fabulous co-hosts so we can get into the rundown. As usual, Jim Pugliafico is here with us on the show. Hey, sweetheart, how you doing?
I'm doing good. And yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, I'm still catching up with 2025 movies. So, right up until last minute, like today, a movie could sneak on. I'm not sure that actually happened with me, but it was a possibility right up until right this minute. So, but I'm excited to reveal my list and see everybody else's list and just talk about the great movies that were in 2025. And there were quite a few.
Indeed. We have so much to talk about. And interesting to hear, how you were open to changes to your list. I did have one today, a movie that I forgot to rate on Letterboxd the second time I watched it, which was much better than the first, and it threw my list off a little bit. Some things changed, babe. You may be really surprised. We'll see.
Oh, boy.
But the other component we literally couldn't do this show without is William Lindis, who is also here. Welcome, Will. How are you and how's your list?
List is good. We'll start there. It's hard because when you watch as many movies as we do, it's not a matter of trying to find 10 good films. It's trying to find 10 great films in a sea of 30 or 40 plus good films, right?
Yep.
And
absolutely.
So you have to kill some darlings as you go through here. But I made my list a couple weeks ago, and I came back and revisited it last night just to see if anything would change on it. And I'm happy to say that while there was one film that forced its way into my honorable mentions that I've seen since then, nothing cracked the top 10, so I was able to kind of keep that list alive. In terms of how I'm doing, I know I talked to you guys about this before. Today was an infusion day, so that means there is going to be wild swings in my energy because I am still kind of rattling off of a steroid and some caffeine that I had to get me through the day, but also the chemo makes me tired. So I think this is going to have Jim, you would understand this reference as the only one of us who's raised a child. This is going to have 2-year-old kid at 9:30 p.m. who is fighting falling asleep and ends up having just the weirdest wrecking ball of just sort of energy and pay attention to me moments possible as they get calmed down for bed. I feel like that's what I'm bringing to the show tonight, and I'm here for it.
Well,
Cranky,
we're here
colicky
for it.
Will. We'll get him. We'll get him all.
We're here for it too, Will, and I'm really glad to reunite with y'all for some movie celebration. We have a ton of movies to talk about. I'm really curious if we'll get any hat tricks this year. Of course, that being a movie that lands on all three of our lists. It's happened before where a movie that's on all three lists has also ended up in the same exact slot, which is a super duper hat trick.
Yeah,
I don't know if
it's
that's
a
going to happen.
trifecta. It's a trifecta.
It's a trifecta.
I have a feeling that so in some years, our list of 30 films has like 29 different films. And there's some years where it has like 18, where we just have.
Yep.
I have a sinking suspicion that this is going to be kind of a split the difference.
Maybe.
Because I think there are a few films that I already know. Like I can think of two that are probably front runners in Jim's list.
Yeah, maybe.
But I do think we're going to get a few kind of wild left turn swings. And again, I'm here for those. Those are the things that make me the happiest.
Indeed. Well, there's so much to talk about. We're going to get into it here in just a moment, but a quick reminder for everybody. We did put out that we were going to do this show ahead of time, so some listeners have already submitted their top 10 or top 5 or top 3 that they wanted to share. We're going to be reading some of those on air as we go. If you're with us live and you haven't submitted a list or your favorite movie yet, you know what? No time like the present. Feel free to drop those in the chat. We may sprinkle some of those in here and there as we go. But all of that said, we're fucking doing it. Here we go. Our top 10 films of 2025. All right. So, Will, you are like Tom Cruise in Minority Report every year when we do this show. You've got the spreadsheets and the tracking and the listener data, and you're moving all the windows around, and it's amazing, and I bow at the altar of your skill. So you seem like the perfect one of us to set this one up. Super briefly, of course, because everyone knows what a top 10 list is. But if you don't mind, just kind of kicking this off for us and getting us rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. You've seen one top 10 list. You've seen them all. We're going to be counting down each of our lists 10 to 1. We'll also be highlighting some honorable mentions and maybe some other media picks that we enjoyed kind of at the end of this episode. But yeah, the big thing that always comes down to us, and I'll be interested in hearing both of you sort of explain your parts on this when you kick off your parts of the list. But it's always hard to quantify what really is a top 10 list, right? Is it just the 10 movies that I personally enjoyed the most? Is it the 10 films that had the most craft behind them or the most like cultural credit when it comes to kind of things that might be going on? How much do each of us weigh those things or not weigh those things at all? It's an interesting, there's no wrong way to do it, but it's an interesting question to kind of ask. And for me, at the end of the day, it's just whatever mix of those things feels the most right in the moment. There are films in this list that I have there's going to be a lot of rewatchability for me. There's films in this list that I think are ones that, maybe are one and two are done type thing, not ones that I'm necessarily planning on revisiting a bunch, but there's some other element of them that is important, whether it be what's happening now in the news, political landscape, my own life, or if it's things that kind of do tie into just kind of how the sausage was made. So all that to say, my answer to that question that we always ask is, it kind of depends, which is a non-answer. So I will start off by showing you my number 10, just because this is a great way to get us started with a pick that I think will probably be on a few different people's lists that you might see in different spots. That said, it is the one that I would say is the most radically different than the other films on my list. And it's a documentary that we actually caught at South by Southwest this year called The Perfect Neighbor. So The Perfect Neighbor, it's on Netflix now, so you can watch this, and you should. It's also up for Best Documentary at the Oscars. This is a documentary only using body cam footage, where you have this woman in this Florida neighborhood who continuously calls the police on her neighbors, and the body footage basically shows some of the kind of the uncomfortableness that led to each of those interactions, and ultimately to a heavy aftermath that evokes the state's stand your ground laws. I won't go into the details too heavily of all of that, but it is the context of the film. What I love so much about this is not just a bunch of body camera scenes slapped together and then call it a day. There's care in the way that they're edited. And I don't mean like, they're editing things out or editing things in or anything malicious or anything like that, but more that this body cam footage is telling basically three stories at the same time. One, when someone with an obvious bias in her neighborhood continuously raises red flags, how any one of those moments you might be able to explain them away, but when you see them kind of contextually over time, it paints a bigger picture of what could we have done sooner. Two, it shows just, how those types of things impact the stand your ground laws. And three, I think most compelling to me is that it also shows the rest of the neighborhood in a way that is defined by something that is more than just the tragedy of the story. You get to see a lot of the interrelations, the connectiveness, just the heart and the vibe and the feel of this neighborhood with just this one sour element that unfortunately tried to but failed to rob that identity from them. So The Perfect Neighbor is a fantastic documentary, and it feels, for a movie that only came out a few months ago in the grand scheme of things, here at this stage that we are right now in 2026 of the things that are happening in some of our major cities, it feels even more timely and more prescient. So The Perfect.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh, we lost Will.
Oh well.
Oh,
There
Come
we
on,
go.
Will. Come back
Yeah.
to us. All right.
So,
You keep dropping out. Not sure what happened there. Welcome
yeah,
back.
that's true. Yeah. So just saying that, at the very landing the plane on this one is just strongly recommended. It really hits all the elements that it's supposed to and feels especially timely given what's happening here in January 2026. So yeah, The Perfect Neighbor on Netflix.
Yeah, Will, that was an early in the year one that I know you were super excited to see, because we hung out together at the festival, and when you came out of that one, you're like, oh, you got to see The Perfect Neighbor, which I did get to see eventually, but not at South by Southwest. And yeah, it's a kind of a harrowing story. It has definitely some significance in what the world temperature is right now. It's a great documentary, but there's it's hard. It's a hard thing. It's real life, and you wonder, man, this could happen pretty much anywhere in America right now.
As we hear police sirens behind all our windows.
Yeah, all over.
Now. Yeah. Well, Will, thank you so much for sharing your number 10. Let's move on to Jim. What was your number 10?
Okay, so my number 10, I just want to say this up front. There are a lot of movies I love this year. Unfortunately, some of them that would have been on my list and solidly in the top 10, even in the top 5 or 3, are not released yet. I did not, yes, they got a festival showing. They might have got a very small, tiny awards type of release. I did not include those on my list. I stuck with movies that are actually have been released one way or another this year. And that kept a few really good films off my list, and we'll get to those in honorable mentions. But my 10 is a film by Josh Safdie of the Safdie brothers, called Marty Supreme. And this is about a table tennis player back in the 40s, 50s. I'm not exactly sure when. He was like a championship level table tennis player, troubled individual, very this film is like a lot of the Safdie films, like Good Time, if you remember Good Time, Uncut Gems. It has that same vibe, that same frenetic, chaotic, like what the fuck is going to happen next kind of a vibe to it. I really liked it, even though there isn't a character in this film other than a dog that I really liked. There's no likable characters, and that's unusual for me. I usually like to focus on a character that I can vibe with. But nope. In this movie, none of the people in this film I really thought were, somebody that I was kind of like rooting for. But I did like the film. So it's Marty Supreme. That's my number 10.
We have a tradition on this show that I'm going to invoke right now, and that's if something's going to fall later on in the list, we'll just say I'm banking some time.
Yeah.
So I'm banking some time.
Okay, cool.
All right. I will very safely say I am not banking time for this one, but I'll
No.
also safely say that I'm really glad you enjoyed this one so much, babe. I the best thing I can say is Timothée Chalamet gave an amazing performance in this.
He did.
So much so that he made this very, like, I don't know, this person who just drove everybody crazy. He made me do that to the point that I was like, oh God, I hate Timothée Chalamet. And then I'm like, wait, no.
But it's not Timothée
No.
Chalamet.
I don't hate Timothée Chalamet. I don't like Marty Supreme as a person, if that's really the way
Marty
he
Mouser,
was.
whatever.
Whatever. But Timothée Chalamet acted the fuck out of this movie, and really, really appreciate that a lot. So really glad to see, babe, that this ended up on your list.
Yeah. One of the few we didn't see together.
I know. We spent 3 weeks apart for the first time in 10 years.
Right.
We're seeing movies like we don't even know each other. I don't even understand what happened.
Yes.
That's what happens when you're trying to sell a house in Tucson while moving into a house in Austin.
Yeah.
So, all right. Awesome. Well, thank you
Your
for
turn.
sharing that. I guess we'll move into my number 10. I feel like this movie should be higher in my list, but it's not that the movie isn't good. It's just there's so many great movies. But number 10 in my list is Sinners. Such a great fucking horror movie. It's got vampires and gin and juice joints and just incredible acting across the board. Michael B. Jordan, holy shit, that guy. Whew, man, such an incredible actor. Followed him in many things, but I loved watching this movie so much. I've seen it a couple times now. Jim, I don't know if this one ended up on your list, but it has all the dramatic smoking, so maybe it did. I don't know. We'll find out. Jim really loves dramatic smoking in movies.
But that's not enough
on
its own to get it's not enough on its own to
right,
get a film
that's
on my
true.
list.
Sometimes it's got to be dramatic French smoking to like catapult it, right?
Yeah.
In any event, Sinners was great. We always say on this show, horror movies do not get enough love. This is one of maybe more than one, maybe more than two horror movies on my list this year. So this is just the first one out of the gate. But Sinners, my number 10.
Awesome.
Cool. I'll bank some time.
All right. Sounds good, Will. Moving on to our number 9s then, I guess. Moving through the list a little quick here, but we're okay because I don't know, a 3-hour show? 1.5 though?
No.
I think that's doable.
We're not shooting for a
We'll
3-hour
find
show.
out. We'll find out. Will, what was your number 9?
So my number 9 is one of those horror movies that you had referred to making the list. I don't know if it'll make yours or not, if it's one of the ones you're referring to. But this is Weapons by Zach Kreger, who previously gave us Barbarians, and previously before that, the sketch comedy group, The Whitest Kids You Know. This movie is all set around this classroom where one day all of the kids, except for one, and the teacher fail to show up for school that day. And so, told through a series of different character-focused chapters, we get to follow what happens when this weird disappearance impacts and makes a tragedy out of this this young community, and then turns into sort of a horror metaphor for something else, another type of kind of pain and loss that someone experiences, but not the one you're thinking, and I would rather leave it unspoiled. And ends up finding both terror and tragedy and maybe even a little bit of triumph, but also more terror in going through all those different items. There's a lot to this movie. It is densely packed with themes, but on top of all that, it's just cool as fuck in its setup and its ability to make kind of wild swings with some of its characters, some fun, gross out special effects, and I would say a fairly well-deserved set of even Oscar nominations. We've got the Amy Madigan character of Gladys got nominated for this. So I really, really liked Weapons. I also really, really liked Barbarian, and I really, really like horror movies that can sort of be both of the genre and fly above the genre too, just in terms of how they're accomplishing and kind of mainstreaming certain things. Weapons does all of that.
Yeah, good
Awesome,
pick,
Will.
Good, excellent pick. I'm going to bank some time probably on this one, but I did love Weapons, and yeah, we'll get into some of those reasons why when I pick it. But it was one of the standouts of the year for me, for sure.
Well, I am not going to bank time for Weapons, except to say it may end up on another part of our list that we're
Sure.
not talking about right now, possibly. But yeah, Will, really, really solid pick here. I love that they took the like anime Naruto run and like made it into a horror movie thing. Like that's super fun. And yeah, I think we're always looking for horror movies that do something a little new and a little different. And one thing I'll give this one is it kept me guessing the whole time. And not a lot of horror movies can do that. So really, really great choice on Weapons. All right, Jim, what is your number 9?
My number 9 was a movie that I'm surprised made it onto my list. I did put off watching this until right around the holidays. I know it came out earlier in the year. This is the third Ryan Johnson mystery film with Detective Benoit Blanc, and it's called Wake Up Dead Man. It squeaked into number 9 on my list, and I think the other two did not make my lists in their years. I think actually this is the best of the 3 films, in my opinion, to come out. I just love the cast here. I mean, Josh O'Connor he's just a rising star. He's one of those guys now who seems to be in almost everything. Glenn Close, Daniel Craig, of course, as Benoit Blanc, with a weird haircut in this one, but I let that slide. Josh Brolin is great in this. It's Andrew Scott, who I love. So yeah, this is this one I really liked. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. So Wake Up Dead Man, number 9 on my list.
Yeah, so this one is one of the ones that didn't quite make my list, but is in that kind of top 15. So it's in the honorable mention territory.
I'm surprised, Will. I know you love these movies, these Ryan Johnson mysteries.
Fantastic filmmaker who makes fantastic mysteries that are exactly the type of mysteries that I enjoy watching. I mean, this is 100% written for me. It's just that there were a few other films
Too many good ones, yeah.
Well, that just sort of accomplished what they were going for, I think, just slightly stronger for me. But that's ultimately we're down to like when we're talking about the difference in those types of films on where they fall on your list. It's kind of how they fit today and where they fit in your current mood, right?
Or where they could fit tomorrow, right? They could change.
100%. But what I love about these mysteries and what I love about this mystery as well is that they give us the full kind of like mystery and setup and curveball and parlor room scene that is what's so fun about these types of films.
Yeah.
But it also subverts some of the style and storytelling. It goes much more of like in some ways, like Columbo. When you ever watch Columbo, they always showed you who did it up front, and then you had to figure out if Columbo was going to figure it out. Here, they let you sort of explore in that space and learn sort of how people are involved, even if the final, who done it and how done it happens at the end. It's really good. This one is probably going to be one of the ones that is most likely rewatched for me, even if it's not my top 10.
I think what put it over the top for me was Josh O'Connor and the character that he played. He plays a priest, a young priest, and just the earnestness of that character. You definitely get empathize with that character, right? It's one of these things where you're empathizing with this character, and is he earnest? And then you're asking yourself halfway through, like, is he too earnest? Is he actually a murderer? Like, he might be. And then I'm not going to say whether he is or not. That's spoilery, but like. That I think is the beauty of this movie and the performance that Josh O'Connor gives.
All right, awesome. Moving on then to my number 9. My number 9 is actually a movie that I had watched initially and totally hated. And it reinforced for me why I absolutely have to be in a good headspace to watch a movie and enjoy it for what it is and not what's happening in my headspace. This was a movie that was super popular. A lot of people really loved it. They were crazy about the music from it. And it made me want to throw my phone through a TV the first time I saw it. So when I saw it a second time, several months later, and ended up loving it, it kind of just surprised the crap out of me. And I was like, yep, guess I shouldn't have gone into watching K-pop Demon Hunters when I was cranky, because it was a great movie and the music was fantastic. Will, Jim, one of the things y'all know I talk about a lot is mental health, and we all know how important mental health is. We know how it's been stigmatized. I think society is trying to like come back the other way now and help people to embrace taking care of their mental health, just like you would a broken arm or a stubbed toe that's bleeding. Like, if something's not going right, there are things you can do to help. And I feel like K-pop Demon Hunters, throughout its music, throughout the message of the film, does so many things to really put mental health front and center. One of the lines from one of the songs is, "We can't fix it if we don't face it." And that's something I've really come to learn in my own mental health journey over the past few years, is like, if you don't face it, you're never going to fix it. If you keep putting it to the side or not thinking about it or playing a video game when you feel bad, like, it's never going to go away. Like a demon, it's going to keep coming after you. If you want to, create that golden honeymoon and, seal the badness away, you got to tackle it head on. So, there's a couple other songs. Actually, Will, yeah, I don't know if this is on your list or not. I saw you put it in our private chat, but if you want to add on, please do.
Oh, all it was really just, you said we can't fix it if we never face it. So I just was like, yeah, let the past be the past till it's weightless. Just queuing up that next line.
Right,
Wow.
right. I mean,
Oh, boy.
I know, and it's so funny because like at work right now, like everyone's quoting these songs, and it's like, holy shit, this is really pervasive and cool. I, very unexpectedly ended up loving this one a lot, so it is my number 9.
I think it's awesome, babe, how you came around to this movie. We've watched it the first time together. And you're right, you didn't really like it all that much. I actually did, it didn't knock me over either. I thought it was cute. There's some catchy songs. And then next thing I know, you're listening to one or two of the songs like on repeat, right? And every time the song comes up, I could see you like get a jolt of adrenaline. You're like, so you fell in love with the song, I think, first, and knowing it was from the movie, and then you went back and watched the movie and you loved it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know we have so many more movies, so I don't want to go deep in that. But yeah, I hated the movie, but then I was listening to music, and one of the songs, came on randomly, and I was like, well, geez, maybe I do like that song. And I listened to it more and then more. What was one song then became 2 songs and then 3 songs. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop and just rewatch this movie at this point, fresh, mostly fresh. I had some music I liked from it. And it blew me away in a whole new way. And now I think I have 6 of those tracks on repeat from the film itself. And like 8 different piano covers of each different song on repeat on my musical list. So, um, yeah, definitely made a big impact. All right, I'm gonna pause for just 1 second before
Yeah.
we go further in our lists, and we're gonna read off one of our listener list submissions. Before I do that, though, Hammy is in the chat with us. Hey,
Yes.
Hammy
Thank you.
Hamstrat. He says, "Can we see Jim give an example of dramatic smoking?" Now,
No,
Jim, you do not smoke cigarettes or anything else, to my
I
knowledge,
don't
but
even have any
could
candy
you
cigarettes.
could you just pretend you have a cigarette and oh, there you go. There you go, Hamstrat. I don't know if you're if you're watching the live video.
You know,
If you are, and you missed it, we can't
you know,
rewind,
you know who's
unfortunately.
doing some of the
But
best dramatic smoking these days is Billy Bob Thornton, but we'll get into that later.
oh my gosh, the smoking from Billy Bob
Yeah.
Thornton for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
super got it. All right, so first listener list is from Kevin Ryan. That's right, good friend of ours in person, also good friend of the show. Kevin Ryan gave us his list. Hamstruck said that was an Oscar-worthy performance, Jim. By the
Thank you.
way, your
Thank
dramatic
you.
smoking.
Yes.
But here is Kevin's list. So Kevin has number 10, Wicked for Good. I don't know how that movie would end up on anyone's fucking list. Didn't get an Oscar nom. No, I'm just kidding. It may show up during this show. The Smashing Machine is number 9. Primate, Fantastic Four First Steps. The Housemaid, How to Train Your Dragon, the live action version. The Running Man, Roof Man, Superman.
Wow. All
And
mans in a row.
while his number one film does not have the word man in it,
Has boy in it.
it's still kind of apropos. His number one film is Good Boy. Good Boy.
3
So
men
there
and a
you
boy.
go.
Yeah.
3 Men and a Boy. No,
I mean,
that's
that
a
sounds
really
like one of
fun
my books.
list. And
Yeah.
I think it captures like a pretty good little swath of movie.
Oh no! All right, full transparency, y'all. Jim, you may want to make an edit note. I don't know. We're gonna take a break here for just a second. Hey, Will, welcome back. We're
Yeah.
just taking a quick break to the joys of doing it live.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go power cycle my router.
Okay.
Why don't, while I do that, you guys, when we bring it back in just for the audio episode, skip me on 8 and then go straight to Jim and Brad's 8, and then that'll give me, then we can double, like,
We'll
I'll
come
just
back
do
around
my
to
8
you at
and
8.
7 back to back.
Yeah. Sounds good. Yeah.
But
cool. That sounds good. All right, everybody. You're getting to watch us troubleshoot and figure it out in real time.
It's right. Shuffle the deck and keep playing.
That's right. All right. So that's my rewind noise. All right, so Jim, for our number 8 round, why don't we go first to you on this one, just to switch things up a little bit, not to hard technical difficulties that are happening, but yes, that's what's happening. Jim, what was your number 8?
My number 8 was a documentary. As anybody who knows me or my taste in movies and have heard our lists over the years, I really do love well done documentaries. This one came out this year. It's called Pee-wee as Himself. This is the one about Pee-wee Herman, Paul Rubens. He passed away recently. We lost him. Very, very sad about that. And I'll be honest, I didn't watch a lot of Pee-wee when he was like on TV. He kind of fell in an area of time where I was already past my younger years and my teens and into my like 20s and 30s, and I just wasn't into that show. And I grew to appreciate Pee-wee much later in life. through reruns of the show and whatnot. But this is a documentary that really digs into like where he got his start, um, just a little bit behind the genius of creating the Pee Wee character. Just really awesome. I love these documentaries about um, entertainers that really kind of dig in to not just surfacey stuff, but their struggles and really get what I think is an honest view of the person behind the character. Um, as Pee Wee, in this documentary, and I think on my list the last year or two was the Gilbert Gottfried one. Um, that was another
Mm.
one, very very similar, that I thought was so well done. Because in that case, everybody knows Gilbert Gottfried, but do they really know who the person is behind that character? Um, and that's what I love to learn. So yeah, Pee Wee as himself. That's what it's called. It's a great documentary. If you get a chance to watch it, go find it. I'm sure it's on streaming somewhere. Definitely worth a watch. That's my number 8.
Awesome. I didn't see this one, but I grew up with Pee-wee's Playhouse. And while it wasn't like in my rotation of stuff in the
Mm.
90s that I would like seek out, whenever it would randomly be on, like on Saturday morning or in afternoons when it came to reruns on TNT or whatever it was, there was just, I don't know, there was always something just quirky and weird about the Pee-wee character, in a talking chair and Charo singing Feliz Navidad, and I don't know. There was a lot there that was just really interesting and fun. I think a steady diet of it was maybe a little too much for me, and so maybe that's why I
Maybe,
kind of
yeah.
ducked in and out of it, right? Um, but you really got to admire what he put into that character, and just how many kids grew up with Pee-wee. um we were very lucky to be on hand at South by Southwest a few years ago when the last Pee-wee movie came out, and Paul Rubens was there, and we got to see him
Yes.
do a Q&A for the film. And very sad, of course, that he's passed, but
Right.
really really cool that this doc is out there.
Yeah.
It's definitely one that I want to catch up with too at some point for sure.
I'd be down to watch it with you when I'll do a repeat watch of that with you anytime.
Aw. Is that kind of like Iceman telling Maverick he'll be his wingman any day?
K-pop Demon Hunters not so much, but Pee Wee, yes.
Okay. All right. Bruce is here. Hey,
Hey, Bruce.
Bruce. Good to see you in the chat. Hello. It's like a reunion of friends. Bruce gave us a top 10 list as well, so we'll have to work that into
We're getting there.
our sprinkling around as we go. I'll go ahead and give my number 8 while we're waiting for Will to come back here. So my number 8 is a film that, Jim, actually you saw and recommended to me, and I was like, oh, he's already seen it, why am I going to watch it? But I watched it anyway, because I am very very much into like weird sideways like sci-fi horror
Mhm.
movie kind of things, and Companion absolutely fit that bill for me. Premise is simple. If you could have a companion, a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, that's like a synthetic, human that's like programmable, and you can customize it to your preferences, and what would that be like, and what would happen if everything fucking goes wrong? And this movie did something brilliant that I'm not going to spoil because I really want people to seek out and see Companion. But it totally flipped my expectations of what this movie was going to be or what it was about on its head. And it just left me by the end of the movie grinning from ear to fucking ear. So again, I mentioned multiple horror movies on my list this year. Companion, I think certainly qualifies. Definitely one I enjoyed very much.
Mm.
That's my number 8.
Man, I remember seeing this movie, babe. I know I was without you. I was on a business trip actually in DC. And Will, I know you went there too, but not at the same time, to the Alamo Draft House in DC. And that's where I saw this one, and it happened to be just strangely and tragically aligned with a huge like that DC aircraft disaster that happened last year.
Yeah.
And I was right there, and yeah, as I'm coming out of I'll always remember this because as I'm coming out of the theater, it's like solid sirens, just sirens everywhere, going to the airport, which was pretty close, and knew something had happened. But yes, Companion and DC, and that date will always be the something in my memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intrinsically linked for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, it looks like we have Will back. Testing. Will, are you actual Will or are you synthetic Will?
What if actual Will has
Companion
always
Will?
been synthetic Will? I mean,
Well, shit. Now you're blowing my mind. I don't know.
I don't know.
Well,
That's the true
whichever-
existential horror.
Whichever Will you actually are. What is your number 8?
All right, so my number 8 pick is a film by Jafar Panahi, who is a filmmaker who keeps putting out like films that I enjoy, even if he has to smuggle them out of his home nation. He's an Iranian filmmaker who is not allowed to film there, and so therefore has created a few workarounds, including This Is Not a Film. And then No Bear's story kind of about him smuggling some stuff out over the last year before that. But this year we had It Was Just an Accident. And this movie hits right in the middle of a few different Venn diagrams. So you've got this guy, he's just a mechanic at this shop. And then one night, this family's car is brought in just because it needs some quick repairs. And while he doesn't get a good look at the dude's face, the owner, he hears a clang, 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 clang with every step, like a creaky noise that he remembers sounding exactly like the prosthetic leg of the sadistic Iranian prison jailer that used to abuse him and several other inmates a few years earlier. So he kidnaps the man and is planning on murdering him in the desert as revenge. And then the man says, no, that you've got us mixed up. It's not me. And just enough doubt is there that he keeps him captive, but also keeps him alive, gets some of his several fellow prisoners or former prisoners to come and try to help him confirm or decide what to do with the guy. It's obviously a story about
You're back.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back.
Yeah.
You and Jim, feel free to note if needed. You cut out right at it's obviously a story.
Yeah. It's obviously a story about tragedy and what happens when the abused get to face their abusers and kind of what decisions they could or should or may make. It's also a movie about like some of the characters sort of coming to terms with and sort of getting over while others not their experience, and neither of it is bad. And it's also a kind of darkly funny movie in some spots as these people sort of figure out what they're going to do with this guy they've got captive. It's funny, it's dark, it's tragic, it's personal, it's based in the politics of its region, but it's also feels pretty universal in how we deal with revenge. I really freaking liked It Was Just an Accident and think it was one of the best films of the year.
Very cool, Will. I didn't get to catch up with this one yet. I'll have to see if it's, available here at a theater or streaming somewhere. I have heard about it. I just haven't had a chance to catch up with it yet. One of those films that, haven't seen all of them yet.
Yep, that happens. Definitely. All right. Well, that completes our round 8. But, Will, I believe we have another listener list to share.
Yeah. Friend of the show, Bill Harris, reached out to us. He is one of the
Bill.
hosts of Green Screen
Bill.
of Death.
Which is still going, by the way.
Yep.
Yes.
They had a mega episode drop like a month ago,
Uh-huh.
and it helped me get through a long drive over the holidays. So
And
I loved hearing those guys again.
Bill did reach out and say, "Hey, make sure you give the guys some love for mentioning the show on the most recent episode because we talked about it, I think, in our plugs last week or last go live." So yeah. Well, Bill Harris's
so
pick
much.
from 10 to 1. He starts with the film Tuner, then The Voice of Hind Rajab, which actually comes out on Criterion Channel soon and is in Austin theaters this weekend. Train Dreams, No Other Choice, Warfare, Weapons, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie, which played at Fantastic Fest, Sentimental Value, Hamnet, and his #1 film of the year, One Battle After Another.
Which also played at Fantastic Fest.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Strong list from Bill. Yeah. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's
awesome.
I'm interested in seeing how much overlap that I have with any of the individual listeners. That's always a fun thing to game to play. Oh, I've got one overlapping. Oh, I have none. That's fun. Just give me some new examples. Or I've got like 4 or 5 overlapping.
And I mean, when Bill gives a list, I mean, you know that he's has a lot of movies to compare to make his list from. He probably sees, I guarantee you, he's seen more movies this year than anybody else we know.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, great list. Guys, we're 45 minutes in. Would you believe we're only done with our top 10, 9, and 8 so far? I love us so much, but I think we need to massively
mash the pedal a little bit.
Yeah, I don't often say that, but maybe we just need to really hunker down here. We're going to go to Jim first for number 7, because, Will, you gave your number 8, and then you read a listener list, so we'll give your voice a chance to maybe recover. Jim, what is your number 7?
My number 7 is a movie called The Smashing Machine. This movie was the story of mixed martial arts and UFC champion Mark Kerr. Only fans of UFC, who know a lot about that world would probably even know who Mark Kerr is. I actually did not. This is one by another Safdie brother. So I have 2 films by the Safdie brothers on my list, starring Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt. I really liked the work that was done here. Dwayne Johnson is totally almost unrecognizable in this film, and I really dug that. And granted, it's not just makeup. It was just the way he's acting. He's acting the character. You could tell he put the work in, totally believable, and made me feel something for this character that I knew nothing about, this Mark Kerr. Just a lot of empathy for that character and what he was going through, and the blood and sweat that he poured into his career as a front man for UFC for a long time. So The Smashing Machine's my number 7. And yeah, I really like this film.
Yeah, that's a strong choice. Get what I did there?
Yes.
Didn't make my list, but The Rock, you're absolutely right. Almost unrecognizable in that role. And man, he's got acting chops. He just does not get enough credit for, and they really got to
doesn't
be
get
on
to
display
use him
here.
enough.
So
I want to see more of that from him. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's nice
Love
to see
that this
both
made your
of the
list.
Safdie brothers, even though instead of directing as a duo, they're directing as singles this year, between Marty Supreme and The Smashing Machine. It's great to see they both really were able to lean into kind of the stuff that they like and let the stuff that they do well at. So yeah, this is cool.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thank you, Jim. Will, how about you? What was your number 7?
So my number 7 is a movie by a different Safdie brother. I said we'd bank some time with Josh Safdie's Marty Supreme. Just coming back to it, I won't rehash what the story is about. What I do like so much about this is a movie about tension. This is a movie about anxiety, kind of as an audience member, the anxiety you experience when your characters are never really given a moment of like rest or relaxation kind of through the bulk of the film. Again, the other films that the Safdies do tend to do that as well. And it works very well for them, as well as some of the camera movements that we saw both here and in the Smashing Machine by the two Safdies. I did like these characters, even if I wasn't rooting for the characters. I guess what I mean is like they are unlikable. They're likable.
They're well done.
Characters. Yeah,
they're well done for sure, but just not, it might, for people who go, sorry about that. For people who go to a movie to try to empathize with the characters and want to like somebody and find the hero in a movie, you might be disappointed with this one, because I'm not sure there is a hero here. Yeah. Not in the likable sense anyway.
I think the hero is Josh Safdie, who once again proves that he can write and direct a movie like this that just really feels like that blend between like tense indie and kind of now sort of mainstream Oscar bait, sort of like prestige film category. I love that he's been elevated into that category. So yeah, not much else to say. I liked Marty Supreme. Thought it was the goods.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you, Will. My number 7 is also an indie movie, but maybe not in the way you're expecting. It's a movie starring an actor named Indy. In fact, it's an actor who isn't even a human. Indy is a dog, and he's an incredible dog who is in a movie called Good Boy, which made Kevin Ryan's list as his number 1 pick. And holy shit, this movie is amazing. We got to see this at South by Southwest Film. Jim, like you, I struggled with these lists because there's some great films I saw at South by. Unfortunately, I have not gotten distribution. Can't see them. I didn't put them on my list. But this one did come out in theaters in October in time for spooky season. Got to see this again with an audience. It was so cool hearing audience reactions in a normal theater outside of a festival crowd, because sometimes there's a festival bias. And people were just over the moon about Indy's acting in this film. I think the director, who is Indy's owner, his human, mentioned that they shot over something like 400 days to get the performance out of Indy in this movie. Basic premise is, if spooky shit's happening in your house and only your dog can see it, what is the movie like if it's from the perspective of the dog and not the humans? And again, a horror movie that flips something on its head, gives us something new. I've never seen a horror movie from the perspective of an animal before. They're probably out there. I'm sure it is, but this one really caught my attention at the festival. Got to meet Indy and give him some scritches, and he's the best boy ever. But even if I hadn't gotten to meet Indy, I saw the movie first and fell in love. And this is such a strong one. So that is my number 7.
Yeah, I mean, this one and Marty Supreme have something in common, right? It's dogs in peril. Like, dogs in peril equals tension. I mean, that's what you're going to get. But the difference is, I mean, this movie was, Good Boy was like, he was the antagonist of the movie, protagonist of the movie. And you're seeing everything through his eyes, seeing his expressions, him reacting to everything that's going on around, all the spooky shit. Like, it's the goods. I haven't seen anything quite like it.
I mean, already Indy has won against human competitors a best actor or best supporting actor role award. So that was pretty cool to see this year. Awesome. Yeah, this is a good pick. I'd say especially if you're an animal lover, or if you've ever done the whole like cuddled up with your animal, just like, I wish I knew what you were thinking. I wish I could talk to you. I wish I could get inside that head for a minute. Things I thought. This film does a pretty good job of imagining kind of what that perspective is like in a horror film.
Indeed. It does. Hammy says Indy was snubbed for Best Actor at the Oscars. That's true, but what the fuck do the Oscars know? Maybe he'll
Justice for Indy.
Actor. I mean, come on, Wicked didn't get nominated for Best Picture. I mean, what the fuck? What in holy gay hell is going on up there?
Oh goodness! All right. Well, speaking of holy gay hell, we have another list from one of our amazing listeners. Jim, why don't
Yeah.
you set this one up for us and
Yeah.
take it from here?
So Sam White, he's a real good friend of ours, a real good friend of the show. He's always, um, we're always texting about movies we've seen and what have you seen lately. And we've even gotten to see a few movies with Sam, and it's amazing. He he reached out to me on stuff that he saw recently, and I asked him for his top 10. He says, no, I don't have a top 10, but I have a top 5. So I'm going to read his top 5, and here it goes from 5 to 1. Sinners at number 5, Sorry Baby, which is a film I actually saw last night based on his list. The Plague, Dead Man's Wire, and his number 1 was One Battle After Another. Pretty solid
Nice
list.
top
Yeah.
5.
All well, say 4 out of 5 stellar picks. One pick that I still need to watch, and that's Dead Man's Wire.
Me too.
But it
Yeah.
looks like it's up my alley. But the others, I mean, I'll bank some time just across the board. I'll bank some time.
Yeah. Cool.
So, y'all, say his name and he shall be invoked. Sammy is with us right now. He says, hi, y'all. Sam White, love and adore you, friend. Miss you so much and hope you and Patrick are doing well. Thanks so much for submitting this list. We need to talk more movies soon, but pretty solid picks here, gotta say. All right. Well, why don't we move on to our number 6 picks? Will, let's start with you.
Okay, number 6. Another movie that kind of hits on a theme of processing grief that'll become an important part of this list, I think, for me as we go through here. Just a good year for that. It's by I don't know how to pronounce his name, to be honest. Joachim Trier. And it's a Norwegian film starring Stellan Skarsgård and Inga Ibsdotter Lilias and Renata Reinsve, where Stellan Skarsgård plays this father who is sort of known as a masterclass filmmaker. Like, he can, go to different places and put on film studies of his films. His 2 daughters, one of which is trying to be an actress now, and one of which was an actress in one of his early well-regarded films and is now kind of distancing herself a little bit from the front of the screen. They're all dealing with different parts of their lives, kind of like clashing and colliding with one another as he writes and tries to get the oldest daughter to star in a adaptation of his mother's life and eventual suicide in their family home that sort of hits the other characters in very different personal ways. Masterclasses in acting. This is, there's a reason why all 3 of those performers have Oscar nominations. They are
Oh no, we lost him again. We may want to just want to cut it at our 5 and do like a second part for our top. Oh, Will's back.
Yeah.
Hey, Will. Yeah. If this happens a couple more times, maybe we do a 2-parter or something. We can figure it out.
Yeah, let's just plan on doing a 2-parter. I'll rewind just a couple moments there to what I was saying.
Okay. That sounds great.
This is a performers movie with fantastic performances across the board. It's got 3 Oscar nominations for performances: Stellan, Ingva, and Elle Fanning, who is in this as the Stellan Skarsgård's muse for this character that he's trying to bring to screen. And I think the idea of using these fantastic performances to process grief through the lens of the creation of art is especially poignant and will also speak to something we may hear in another list soon. So, sentimental value. Gosh, such a good movie. As our friend Adrian would say, it's a 5-cat cry.
Aww. I didn't see this, but again, mental health, right? Like, I'm so glad to see films that are that are talking about this. And I mean, we had Thunderbolts earlier in 2025. I don't think that made any of our lists, but like 2025 was a good year for mental health films, I think. So I want to see this one. I want to catch up with it. Just haven't yet. But thanks for such a solid vote for this one.
All right.
Very cool. Well, we're going to move on to Jim. Jim, what was your number 6?
My number 6 is the one and only, I would say like blockbustery kind of film that's on my list this year. Perhaps that's arguable, but it's F1 the movie, and I think so. I really loved F1, just like I loved, the Top Gun Maverick when it came out. What was that? A couple years ago. It was very hard to keep off my list. The movie was just so well made. The characters were so strong, and it was fantastic filmmaking, especially from someone who, like, I mean, I had come off of like 3 or 4 years of watching F1 racing. I'm not a fanatic. I've never actually been to a race because they're fucking expensive to go to. And there is one here in Austin, by the way. I got kind of into it enough to appreciate the sport as sport and entertainment, and so the movie was great. I thought Brad Pitt did a really good job. I really liked F1. I know it's probably gonna. I don't know if it got nominated or anything. I didn't pay a lot of close attention to the nominations, but I know that it did well when it was around. But I don't know. It certainly probably wouldn't fall under the category of critic's darling movie. But I thought it was really fantastically done, and it moved me in a lot of ways, especially when I was sitting in a D-box chair. It really moved me.
For what it's
Literally.
It literally moved me up and down, side to side. Yeah.
For what it's worth, Jim, it is up for 4 Oscars.
Is it? Okay.
Visual effects, sound, film editing, and Best Picture.
It'll probably get one of those that's not Best Picture, but I think
it's probably locked in for sound. I think it's front runner for sound right now.
Yeah, it'll definitely get. It's one of those movies that everybody loves every year, but ends up with just like with a technical award at the end of the year. So, which is fine. I'm not an awards whore. I don't really care so much. I'm in love with what I'm in love with, and I like to hear what other people really like, not what the Academy, decides to put out there.
I mean, it's in the Academy has it in its Best Picture, so it's in top 10 for the Academy if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah. Well, again, it had no bearing on my list.
Well, also Hammy in the chat says, "Fuck the F1 haters. I've seen that movie 4 times already. It's great." Whoa, I'm hearing echoing car alarms.
Yeah.
Is that my car alarm? Kevin's going outside to check. Kevin's here. He's on the job.
Hey, Kevin.
Hold on 1 second.
One of ours? No, it's not.
Okay, it's not one of ours.
Neighbor
but we
car.
lost Will. Lost Will.
That's it. His internet is tied to our neighbor's alarm. That's what it is.
Oh my God. It's like the universe doesn't want us to record this show tonight. Car alarms, sirens, internet issues, microphone problems. Will, welcome back. All right. Well, Jim, I'm gonna bank some time, but I will say, as someone who knows you are not a video game person,
no.
I think it was kind of amazing that this movie sparked us going out and getting like a wheel set up and a wheel stand, and we played the game for a couple of months, and then we had to move. So maybe we'll unpack it at some point. But I had so much fun watching you play that game and playing it with you, and I really thank the movie for sparking that interest.
Very good. Yeah, had a lot of fun with that movie. We don't often see movies in the D-box, with D-box seats, but there are certain movies that I think are fun. And this movie was made for D-box, basically.
Mm.
Yeah.
Indeed, indeed. Well, speaking of movies made for D-Box, I saw another movie in D-Box that made my list. We saw this movie once in Hawaii while we were there celebrating Jim's birthday and retirement, and then got to see it again when we came back. This movie is a remake of a CGI animated film from, a decade plus ago. This is How to Train Your Dragon from writer-director Dean DeBlois. Met Dean a couple times at some events. He is a super amazing guy. We love him so much. I was so happy to see a live-action version of this movie come out. And honestly, I think I loved it almost as much, if not at the same level, as I did the animated film. I know Jim's rolling his eyes, maybe, and Jim, I know you're a purist. You really, that original has such a big place in your heart. But it was really cool for me to see like new generations of young kids who maybe didn't watch the original animated film, like come out of this one flying around like they were toothless and just so like happy and stoked about this film. I really loved this one a lot. We just saw the other day they've started principal shooting on How to Train Your Dragon 2 live action. So stoked for Dean that he's getting to remake these films with modern technology, a blend of live action and CGI and practical. What an incredible thing that must be for Dean. I'm so happy for him, but happy for me as a moviegoer that I get to see the live action version of these. I know remakes are controversial, but there you have it. My number 6.
Very good. I love How to Train Your Dragon. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, and who cares if remakes are controversial? I think it's
Yeah.
how well the remakes are done, right?
You probably you have two movies of the same thing to love. You know what I mean? So that's a good thing.
All the more to love, which
Mhm.
is what they say about me. So,
Oh.
hey.
Wait, is there another one of you? Is there another one? Like a clone of you around? Like that's
Believe it or not, there's a live action remake of me as well, which is a mix of live action and practical.
I
The
told them not to
effects
do it.
get-
They did it anyway.
Yeah, it's all about
In
how
any
well
event.
the remake is made, not whether or not it was
Right?
made.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, well that completes our 10 to 5
Part
slots
1
in our
of our
list.
top 10.
Almost, yeah, part 1 of our top 10 for sure. But we have one more listener list we're going to read before
Sure.
we do a little wrap up here and bid adieu until part 2. A new friend from here in Austin who has recently started a podcast of his own that is horror, movie, and TV focused. His name is Ben. Podcast is called Little Dead Aliens. You can find it at glitterjaw.com. It's a queer network of podcasts. Fun show. Ben is super cool. When I told him that we were doing a top 10 show and we were talking about how horror never gets enough love, he's like, I'm going to give you my top 3 horror movies of 2025. How about that? And I was like, sure, that sounds great. So I'm gonna read those off from 3 to 1. We've got Bring Her Back, which,
Sally
Jim,
Hawkins.
I know you saw.
Yes.
Yeah. We've got Weapons, which also made the list for some of us. And then we've got The Monkey as his number 1 film of 2025.
Love these picks. Good, like fun horror picks.
I wonder if Ben has ever if he's a fantastic friend or not. I don't know. Or fiend. I don't know if he is or not. But it sounds like he should
Will, Will, you had a fun call out about how small our world is. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, I've been on the Bear Cave of Terror by friend of the show Steve Mowry from the Comic Book Bears podcast, and I was like, I recognize the Little Dead Aliens podcast. Where from? And it was he joined for a recent episode, I think end of December, talking about Wes Craven's Scream with Steve. So
Nice.
Oh,
yeah, I love just like, our little movie worlds are all intertwined
Right?
and interlaced, and it's cool.
It's so fun. So Ben, like we all need to attend South by Southwest Film together, Fantastic Fest together. We need to do all the movie things and podcasts together. But super super cool. I know he's stoked about Scream. We got a little featurette video from Paramount's press office today, just about the writer of the first one directing the newest film, and we're okay to share those things. So I sent that over to Ben, and I watched it too. Super stoked for the new Scream movie coming out just next month in a few weeks. But Ben, thank you so much for submitting your top 3 and giving horror just a little bit more love. Really appreciate you. Well, given that we're having some crazy technical difficulties, Jim, I know editing part 1 is probably going to be a little bit of a nightmare. Nobody's fault. It just happens sometimes.
mhm.
Will, such huge kudos for you hanging in there with dropping in and out so much. Thank you for being patient. I know how hard that is. We're going to reconvene for part 2 of our top 10 films of 2025 and bring you 5 to 1 as well as the remainder of our listener lists. But between now and then, let's let folks know how they can connect with us. Will, where can folks find and interact with you online?
Facebook, William Lindis, on Letterboxd at the Movie Bear. You can see all of these lists as well as honorable mentions, festival lists, just different lists on lists on lists that I keep there. So check me out in either of those places.
Awesome. Well, no surprise to call this out again. You got us all started on Letterboxd, and I've been faithfully logging my movies for a few years now. But I've only recently really started embracing lists. I've done one for my top 10 the last few years, which made it super easy, like it has every year the last few years to make this. But I started making a new list, and I thought of you. A list of my cozy movies, like when I want to feel all warm and snuggly and emotionally and feely. So I'm going to be adding to that list over time, but you're always using that list feature, and I feel like you really should be their spokesperson for Letterboxd. Like you're always, giving us the goods where Letterboxd's concerned.
Here's the fun social element of that. I now know that The Wild Robot is one of the movies that makes Brad feel cozy.
Oh,
It's that easy to find because you've got it saved in the list section under your profile. So yeah, that's super cool.
all right. Well, Will, thanks so much for letting folks know where they can connect with you. Babe, how about for you? Where can folks hook up with Jim Pugliafico?
Ha. Yes, you can find me on Facebook, Jim Pugliafico, just like it says here on the screen. That's my name on Facebook. I don't know if I'm the only one on there, but there aren't many, so you'll be able to find this beautiful face on there somewhere. And I'm
Aw.
also on Letterboxd at JJP Out West, logging, ranking, rating all my movies. I'm a tough rater though, so don't be disappointed when you see those 2-star movies. Remember that 2.5 is an average movie on Letterboxd, right? At least in my mind. Like if you have a 1 to 5 star rating, or 0 to 5 stars, actually, if you have 0 to 5 stars, what's in the middle? 2.5. So your run-of-the-mill movie that's it's okay, so 2.5. That's my outlook anyway. I know not everybody agrees on that, but that's kind of how I look at it, and I like doing that because it gives me a little bit more room to give those really good movies a little more juice.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, in a couple ways. A, your face is beautiful. B, you do love to give juice. And C, you're right. 2.5 is exactly in the middle of 0 to 5. I always think 1 to 5, and I'm like, 3 is like an entirely average movie. But you're absolutely right. There's more room in that range. So embrace it. Also,
Right.
Jim, you've had a big cock on the screen this whole time. I don't know how we haven't noticed your big cock on the screen up till now, but like there it is.
Right. We're not supposed to, but once in a while I have to whip out my big cock, and here it is right here.
Up on the wall in our kitchen, which is rooster themed.
Yeah.
Get your minds out of the gutter, all you people on audio only. They can't see the picture. Anyway. All right. Well, thank you, babe. For me, folks, if you want to connect online, you can find me on Facebook. Just look for Bradley Harris. You'll find me pretty easily now that I'm using my full first name to differentiate myself from the horrible racist who also shares a name with me. You can also find me on Letterboxd. Just look for iBradPro, like iPad Pro. I was being clever a few years ago when I made that, but you know what? I liked it enough. It sticks. So feel free to find me there. Reach out, talk movies. Folks, it has been an awesome part one with y'all. Thanks so much for joining us and being patient with some of the tech issues we've had. We can't wait to come at you with part two, where we will finish up our top 10 films of 2025.
And the best is yet to come.
The best
All
is
over
yet
you.
to come. Indeed. All right, everybody. We'll see you later. See you next time. Goodbye.